According to the Psychiatry MMC, which is an evidence-based journal, Alzheimer's disease is extremely common, and its incidence increase as persons get older. At this time, there are approximately 4.5 million patients in the country with this illness, and by 2050, this number is seen to triple. Hi, my name is Alicia Martin, and this is a fact that has continuously stuck with me since I found out my Mimi had this disease when I was 8. She was my caregiver, and those roles slowly reversed as the diseases took over her brain and slowly her body, limiting daily functions and remembering simply who I was or where we were, making for a difficult acceptance of what the disease truly can do for those who are suffering and the family. Today, I'm here to talk to you about Alzheimer's disease and how the crippling disease is underfunded, as well as how lack of research and educational components affects many people every day. Finally, I will touch on issues such as financial and elder abuse that affect those with the disease. As a leader in healthcare, I hope to take my values of knowledge, meaningful work, and perseverance to shape a long-term care facility focused on Alzheimer's care and research. As a healthcare leader in the geriatrics field, I believe opening my own long-term care facility would be something that I can truly put my own core values into. I can provide knowledge and research to patients who may be in early onset, as well as to caregivers who need to be able to support their loved ones. My value for meaningful work means my facility will be ran to the best of my ability, making everything we do help or alter someone's life in the smallest ways. Myself and my staff will make a new name for Alzheimer's care and put a stop to both financial abuse and elder abuse for any patient we receive. My final value that will be shown through my facility is perseverance. Even when adequate funding may not be provided or research may not be moving as quickly as we would like, we will still persevere to make our patients feel nothing less than amazing. Alzheimer's disease is not tailored to the needs of those who suffer because it is currently underfunded and unsupported by government officials, leading to the lack of both educational aspects and research, as well as putting those who suffer at risk for both financial and elder abuse. When looking at Alzheimer's disease according to the National Institutes of Health funding, compared to other diseases, Alzheimer's is funded about $450 million a year, compared to cancer, which is funded an average of $5.5 billion. The lack of funding for such an awful disease breaks families up just as cancer does. And as the disease continues to affect families, the funding should as well. This funding will allow for things like the genetic research to continue to prevent those who are born with the gene from getting it. But research such as this can't be done for free. The lack of funding also leads to the lack of education to be provided to communities about the prevention, at least because the small amount of research we do has already shown that protein deposits that cause the onset of the disease form up to 20 years prior to the symptoms. Those who suffer from the disease are also put at risk for both elder and financial abuse. With more resources provided to those who develop the disease as well as caregivers abuse, the rate of abuse could plummet. According to the Nursing Home Guide, 2 million elderly adults are abused per year, meaning 1 in 10 of every nursing home are abused almost daily. There would be ways for those who suffer to be cared for with adequate resources. Oftentimes, those mistreated are mistreated due to high levels of stress, and those who are having to care for them not knowing what resources are available or how to stop and relieve their stress. So it's taken out on those needing to be cared for. As stated in the study done by Cambridge, there are multiple ways an older adult suffers from abuse, first being physical abuse and the next being neglect, which is more of an emotional and mental abuse, both leaving them scared and often misunderstood by doctors who may not know the exact facts of the abuses that may be occurring in their lives. Due to the lack of support from government officials and lack of advocacy, Alzheimer's disease and its patients suffer in many areas, from lack of research to the patients being abused, neglected, and financially exploited. This is why I want to be an influential leader, and my mission to make Alzheimer's widely known and funded and simply bring awareness to what the disease does and everyone affected by it. In conclusion, I hope my leadership skills in a long-term care facility, as well as my core values of knowledge, meaningful work, and perseverance, will lead to a world that is better versed in Alzheimer's disease and can promote and be better advocates for funding and research.